What's up? Yeah. Before we chat, I'ma give y'all the recap. I was working in Japan and I take care of my sick dad. Cause in January of this year, my mom passed. Don't know when I'll return back. Time will discern that. Of course, I miss Tokyo, my home. No cap. I think I answered all the questions that the folks at who watch my videos and wonder why your boy's back. I take it day by day, don't live in the past and keep shit moving like poop, but that's that. Rhyming. That's what we are walking on the trail. That's how I relax from a week of work and I go walk on the trail. But yeah, it's a little cold though. I don't know how long this is gonna work because it's cold. But yeah, we're gonna do half a trail and I'm trying to finish up my audiobook. Because basically I drive like a half an hour, 45 minutes to work. It's 18-hour audiobook. You do the math, it's gonna take a minute. And if I go on a walk, I could bang out like an hour-ish. But yeah. So, as always, you saw how enthusiastic I was about my book. I like reading books. I like learning stuff and connecting it to present-day stuff and trying to mine the gems that are in there. The side effect is, or the downside, you can't tell me nothing now if you say, you know, like, according to the author who thoroughly sourced said topic, that isn't right. It's like, how do you know? Like, I tend to bump into people who are not going to listen to book data. It has to be like, which is frustrating because I'm not going to pull out a book or write an essay. But whatever. I'm pretty sure one day I'll stumble onto a group of book readers who read books and stuff. But yeah, last night I went to the bookstore because before I was working the night job, so I'd come home, eat, hang out with my dad, go take a nap, then go to work. I would have just been getting home-ish, and then I'll go back to sleep. But yeah. So I let that job go, and I have some time. I plan to work on Moon Rock today, somehow. Just gotta find quiet time, and there's none in my house. I'm basically gonna have to just like run up in the attic, make a song. My dad goes into his room, run down the basement, make a song, and just do that. Kind of piece it together. I don't have the luxury of just a block of time. And then there's night recording, but I be sleepy, man. I want to sleep. But yeah. So I didn't say that in the video yesterday because I was just so excited about the book. But yeah, so my dad is sick, as you know, but he's sick. Not like cancer sick, but just old sick, body breaking down. Which, you know, that's a natural thing in life, right? And what's hard is when I come home, right, and I'll be excited to record, and I'll see my dad is in pain and whatever, and he's just waiting it out. And I mean, he's in a program where if I make the phone call, people will come to the house, or we could go to them and they could, I don't know if they could fix or cure, but at least we could identify what the issue is, and maybe we could alleviate some of the pain. That's not what my dad wants to do, and you know, he is of sound mind, so I just have to let him do it the way he's doing it for a while. I got to make the call, and so yeah, that just knocks the whole let's go make songs out of me. And you know, I the house that I live in, my mom died under the same circumstances. She didn't want to go to the hospital and blah blah blah. So it was really tough, you know. So kind of damper. But I do steal moments in time where I could work on a little song or work on a program or whatever. Keep my mind active. But it's hard. And then there's the opposite, or the other end of the spectrum. I'm also tasked with figuring out how to like move stuff out of the house, when that comes that time. Because I don't know how to get a bed out the house. I would have to hire a moving company. I mean, it hasn't happened, but I'm going to have to be the one to move everything and get rid of stuff and set up all that shit. I don't put too much focus on that because it's not happened, but I rather set it up now so when everything is, because funerals suck. Yeah. But and then there's the money stuff. So I'm paying the mortgage. I got the money coming in. That's good. But if my dad gets super sick, then I can't work, and then I couldn't pay the mortgage. So right now, again, it hasn't happened, but these are the thoughts that are bumping around. So then I'm like, well, if I start that music, shit. But then it's like, I don't even know the first step. I mean, I guess like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to pay someone to teach me how to do the licensing. And I believe there's one guy's like, don't do it, go on YouTube. So I go on YouTube, and it's just a minefield of how do I verify who's really saying what, and some are using black hat, white hat, some are lying, some are clickbaiting. It's really confusing. So back to square one. So my current project is preparing for multiple releases, because although I'm up to date in my head with what I'm doing, technique, skills, and all that, if I don't put it out, I think it was in Armstrong's book. You gotta make it so that people can help you. I mean, it'd be nice if someone just knocks on my door and said, hey, here's a blank check. Use it how you would use it. That's not gonna happen. It could, but I'm not that person. I don't wanna wish that into, but I'm not. I'm more the person that someone would say, oh man, you're so talented. One day you're gonna be famous. That does the opposite. It actually, when I hear a phrase like that, it makes me sad. Because a lot of the times, whatever you're listening to or seeing is like maybe 5, 6, 7 years old. Maybe I just made it today, but the concept or the idea or maybe the beat I used is nothing new, So to say I should be would mean that 7 years have passed and I wasn't. And it's, depressing. And I know most people are saying it as saying it as a way of endearment, encouragement. But this does not encourage me. Not at all, man. I like to use this metaphor, right? If somebody was playing sports, right? And they're really good at whatever it is, tennis, soccer, baseball, and they're just good. You see them and they're in like an empty field and they're like just doing whatever skill set they have is just phenomenal. And you shout into the court, the field, you say, hey, keep up the good work. You're gonna make it one day. And then you just walk away and you go somewhere. But then someone else who's standing behind there, he's watching said person. And they just sit there and do that all day. For whatever reason. And 1 year goes by, and 2 years goes by, and 4 years go by, and 6 years go by, and 10 years go by, and 20 years go by, and 89 years goes by, and then they die. I mean, this is an extreme example. Why would anything just happen? What would have had to happen is That person said, hey, you're going to make it someday. He goes and he makes phone calls and he brings a bunch of people to watch him. Or he says, hey, what is your plan? But yeah. But, you got to do what you're going to do. So I've been thinking, what I'm trying to accomplish is impossible. I got to market, manage, fund, encourage, inspire myself, which in turn will inspire, encourage people, which in turn I got to start that engine, which, as I said, there's a lot of shit going on, which is really hard for me to do at the moment. But yeah. This week at the therapist, I don't know. I like her, man. She gets me. I think anybody would get me if they are listening. I don't think people listen. They just want to talk all the time. But, she listens and she takes notes. Maybe she studies. Don't know. But, I think next week I'm going to go in on her because we always come to this point where she'd be like, I was saying how my job is so dysfunctional. I get paid to stand around, and that's all right, whatever. Teachers spend a lot of time yelling at the kids. Yesterday, one of the teachers was like, how can you stand being in such a noisy class? I didn't tell him I spend my mental time working on music in my head. But I did say, the kids ain't yelling at me. I ain't talking over them. That's y'all. I'm just standing here getting paid. No problem. But I was telling the therapist, there's a bunch of ways that we could help the students do as they should. And she's like, well, Matthew, you cannot control people. I was like, what do you mean you can't control people? Yes, you can. She's like, no. And we went back and forth, but I went a little deeper. I'm like, I like to use, it depends on who I'm talking to, but I use I like to go with the marketing angle. We weren't pining for new iPhones before Steve Jobs got up on there and made us want to have one, right? Come on, be real now. But this goes, that's a current thing. But we weren't binging stuff until it was bingeable. We weren't waiting for Amazon Day. We weren't, these are all marketing things that kind of shifted how we do stuff. I could go on and on, but I just gave her 3. And I usually use the cigarettes because there was a time when women didn't smoke cigarettes. It was like, I would never do that. Or if you did, you'd be labeled. But then this dude, marketing guy, he figured out a way to make it cool for women to smoke cigarettes. And he got lots of awards for this. It's online. It's a documentary. So I always say, you can control people if you have lots of time and lots of money or the will to do so. But then I start sounding like a crazy person. But then I could bring it back down to, you have kids, don't you? And again, I said I don't go into my therapy sessions to argue with the woman, because after all, she's there to help me be the best me that I can be. However, the kid argument. When your kids are home and they're doing something and you say, clean up your room or brush your teeth or go to bed at 5 or 7 or whatever, come to church. Most kids are going to say, no, right? And at that point, do you just let that be? Oh, they'll come around, they'll figure it out. Nah, you put the law, whatever form of law you have, no TV, no snacks, no this, which in turn is forcing them into the path that you think is best for them, right? Or you might even lie. Well, if you don't go to school, you're going to end up being a garbage man. That's not true. There's lots of people who didn't go to school who ended up doing dishwashing, who ended up going to school, like infinite ways. Now, yeah, overall, if you don't do whatever, it's highly likely that you might end up in a non-favorable situation. But to say, well, if you don't do this, like cavities, if you don't brush your teeth, you're gonna get worms, without showing them a worm. You know what I'm saying? So, or if you deal with those, or it's racist, like if you talk to those people. Now, again, in my experience, no one has ever said, you're right, I did say those things to my kids. They just kind of dismiss me as, oh, Matthew. And whatever, I'm not, I long gave up the hope of trying to convince people to the thought process of me. But it's integral to who I am now, you know? So, like, I don't go on these walks because I necessarily love nature. I do, but it's more, you know, I talk out my stuff. I can't talk out my stuff in the house, walking back and forth. You know, it works walking and talking. There's a dog without a leash. I'm scared. Yo, at my school, there's these two, behind the school, there's like this wolf dog. It's like, it's kind of like this dog that's coming up right about, oh, not coming up, oh, here it is. You see him? Right about now. The phone call over. But yeah, it's, they're big, but they don't bark. It's scary. Anyway. But, yeah. What else is on my mind? So, I went to the bookstore yesterday. And I went there specifically looking for a music book. But interesting or not, recently the bookstore doesn't really have books. I mean, they have whatever's popular and whatever, but they don't have like, because this bookstore, it was a Barnes, they used to have a whole section about like music making. That's what I used to use back in the day. Now it's like there was like 4 books, the Dummies series, How to Make Music for Dummies, and the Idiot series, How to Make Music for Idiots. I don't like those titles because I don't think of myself as an idiot or a dummy, although I am a dummy when it comes to stuff, but I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but I still don't like the name. And I found this cute little chart. It was called a chord ladder. I mean, I've seen the concept, but it's a ladder. So it just shows that chords naturally resolve down to a 1 or a 5. I didn't take a picture of it. That's kind of illegal. I don't know if they could stop me. But either way, I wrote it down, took a memo. And while I was there, this guy, random guy, was like, hey, good luck with your studying. You're going to be a pianist. I'm like, no, I'm just learning to learn. And then the guy came over and he's like, yeah, it was staff. He's like, yeah, they don't really sell books anymore. It's all digital. And then he's like, yeah. And then they for 5-10 minutes, they're talking about how everything is switching, but good old hard copies of things is great. And I was just thinking, that's cool. These two souls found each other and they're just talking and enjoying. When am I gonna find someone to talk about whatever? And then after he left, the guy came over, like, so how long you been playing? That's my Morty voice, a little low though, an older Morty. Yo, I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. Oh my gosh, I love Beth. No, this the daughter. Who's the daughter? What's his sister's name? Beth, Morty, Rick. Well, I do like her. I just don't know her name. Well, the daughter, I like her voice. Grandpa. I can't even do her voice, but yeah, man. But Yeah, so then the guy came over and he's like talking to me while I'm reading, which I'm like, dude, I'm reading unless you do music. Because his whole point was, I don't do music, but I watch videos, which that's cool. And I was almost going to say, what videos you watch? But I'm reading the book. The bookstore's going to close in like 45 minutes. No, it was like 20 minutes at that point. And he's just like, yo, if we're outside and I'm selling bootleg videos and you're playing music, you'd make more money. That's not true, sir. I think people would be buying bootleg videos over the music I make. We wouldn't know. But to put yourself down, and that's like, he's a person I didn't want to talk to. It was kind of weird. Now, I'm weird, but he's kind of weird. But who knows? He could have been, he said, if he sings, it'll hurt my ears. And like, he just kept saying all those things. I don't want to be around a person who doesn't believe in themselves. But yeah. So I got my knowledge out of the books, and then I went home. The past 2 weeks since I was working, and this week I had to do stuff. But I watched the group of beat makers that make beats using Koala Sampler. You should join it if you are interested in making beats. And I was listening to it's a live stream, 3 hours. So I was listening to it on the way back, and my song came up, and I don't know, I get a lot of love in the community. I get a lot of love in communities where they do what I do specifically. Like if you read books and then I read books, then you'd be like, wow, I never thought of it that way. And I'm like, I never thought, and we could go down that rabbit hole of how we interpret books different. But if you don't read books, it comes off, oh, I'm going to read that book someday. Or so in this group, we all make beats using the same program, but we do it how we do it. We flip it differently, or we focus on different things. Recently, a lot of people have been putting their own voices to the tracks, which is cool because, people say, I love your voice. My student, right, yesterday or 2 days ago, they're taking a test. And the teacher asked me a question, and I said, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the students, she raised her hand. She said, like, I'm not joking. Doesn't Mr. Bailey's voice sound like he's a singer? Jazz singer? And then the teacher, because I just told her right before the test, when we had a little break, I was like, yeah, music is my life. And she was I could see her saying, I'm like, because in Japan, although they may be able to find me, it's all in English, and it would just get boring really quick. But little kids, they're not even little 11-year-old Americans, they would find me, and they got their iPads. They'd be watching me while we're doing class, and some of my stuff is not student appropriate. And they would see me in a whole nother light, and it'd just be a whole big mess. I don't know how long I could keep it a secret, but I'm not going to give them any information. I was like, But yeah, so I got the voice. I forgot where I was going with this. I was going somewhere. Let me think. I was saying, good morning. I was saying, I forgot. Kids. Let's go back. Kids. And then kids. All right. If I walk backwards, maybe it'll come to me. That ain't working. Let me think. Oh yeah. So I'm in a group. We're all making beats, and some of them are using their voice. Everyone's voice is unique, and my students are picking up on my voice. And imagine if I never spoke, they'd never hear it. So yeah, in this group, some are rapping, and they're not rappers. They have a kind of, I went down to the store and jumped up here. Like, they do whatever they do, but it's cool because, they're just doing what they do. Yo, I was thinking of doing this thing right here. October 10th, which makes that a Monday. But it's $25. But it could be cool because, hey, look at this one. There's some cool stuff. But actually, nah, I can't. I gotta take my dad to the hospital on Monday. You see how that? Maybe I could just come down here just to be down here. Because one of the things I gotta do is I just gotta break the pattern. Be somewhere where I wouldn't normally be, and that's probably where I'll find the love of my life. Mm-hmm. But I know I said I was gonna go half the trail, but you know, this is like a once in a I ain't gonna be doing this because it's getting cold kind of thing. But so yeah, when my video came up, because it's live stream, and they were just talking about me, and they're just saying, wow. They went in 4 different areas. They said, one, it looks like he's having a lot of fun making his music, which is true. I mean, we're all different, but watching someone not look like they're enjoying it, like they're in pain or something, like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, and you shouldn't be doing it. Get out of here with that. Or they're just saying the way I was using this one program, AUM, with Zoa, triggering the samples, pretty novel. I chopped up all the slices and I put it in a chromatic scale, so you know, no one cares here so much, but in the community they're like, yeah, I can't believe you did that, because it's almost on some Louis Armstrong. Why would you? I mean, that's what half the book is. He was the first to do this, and people are just amazed. I don't get it. I played the trumpet, but I'm more of a smooth jazz kind of. Anyway, and then another was picking up on the lyrics. He was like, yeah, man, he has like a jazz tone to the way he's rapping. Like, okay. Another person was saying, yo, when he said he gonna do it in one take because he don't got time to do it again. Another one was saying, he's such a great asset to the community, and on and on. And, you know, which in turn makes me, next week, I got to do something even, I got to push that envelope. Or, I mean, for the most part, I try to do something I didn't do the week before. Then, this happened last Thursday, right? Since my dad's not feeling well, he needed help taking out the garbage. You say, why is your dad taking it out? Because he told me that he's going to take it out. And one time I took it out before he took it out. I said, don't take out the garbage. I'll take it out. And that's that. He's going to take out the garbage. But now that he's kind of he's feeling under the weather, he couldn't take it out. So he's like, can you take out the garbage? Or actually, he said, can you just take it out? He still physically took it out to the street. And it's just like, dude, I'm here. I could do all this stuff. But again, the idea is to keep my dad doing the things he does without being in the way. So I pull the garbage out of the garbage receptacle, and my dad's like, there's 2 drawstrings. Draw the strings. Like, are you telling me how to? Okay, like this, and then tie it. Like what I do on music, right? Or what I mean, it is what it is. But it's just like, on one hand, people are saying, man, you are a genius. And on the other hand, people are like, you're a fucking idiot. They may not say it. Now, actually, some people did say that. And other people just imply it. It is a weird dimension. It's like, it's literally like the Thanos snap. It never, I mean, I bet you, I mean, it could. Maybe when they got snapped away in Thanos snapping, they went to another place and it was an alternate, because that could be a whole spinoff. If Disney takes this, make sure you point them out, and then maybe I can get a check for this stuff. But anyway, my time in Japan, 15 years, is as if I didn't exist. So basic shit, people just think. Like I have people, Matthew, you gotta learn to get along with people. What the fuck you think I was doing in Japan for 15 years? Don't even speak their language. Matthew, you gotta, like, successful as in, I ran groups, I I found a place. So handling shit, like my dad is, the bill got to be paid on October 1st. We got to pay it on October, because if we don't, we're going to get a late charge. I'm like, Dad, we could prepay it. I could literally walk to the place if it's walkable. I could pay it online. I could pay it by phone. I could, like, if you don't want to be late, there's multiple ways. But I mean, this happened. He told me, remember when former President Trump blocked or stopped the U.S. mail? So a lot of the people who depend on the mail to come so they can do what they got to do, it was late. And then my house bill came late, so they turned it in late and they got a late charge. Really, it wasn't their fault. So my dad called them, said, hold on, and then played some music. And then a voice came on, your call will be answered in 5 minutes. And then back to music. Your call will be answered in 3 minutes. And then music. So my dad hung up. And he's like, they just kept playing music. I mean, that's what they do. Put that shit on speakerphone and do something else. When my mom was alive, she asked me to make a call. And they're like, it's going to be 15 minutes. And my mom came back in 2 minutes. I get, Radix on the phone. Ah! And I'm like, Mom, calm down. I can wait. Don't worry. I got this. She came back. You're still on the time. Hang up. I was like, just let this. And then finally, after 15 minutes, it got done. Like, they're just... Now, I understand back in the day, we didn't have such long-ass waits. I mean, I remember reading, if you're calling, like, the airline, you should be chatting online and calling and sending emails all at the same time for whichever comes the fastest. But it's just like my skill set has evolved, has changed. But it's like being here, it's like everyone's still doing shit the way they used to do it. But, you know, one day at a time, that's all we can do. Just keep trucking, trucking. So, what else? So I'm having this dilemma, right? By now, I have so many sample packs. Sample packs are pre-made music that has been cleared so you don't get any issues with sampling. And my mind has finally, well, it happened way back when. Like, there was this thing I couldn't do. Like, if I took an old record or an MP3, that's what I used to do, I could flip the MP3, dun, 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 then flip it, dun, dun, easy. But if I had like a pre-made sample, it was so hard for me to flip it because I felt like that's not music. I felt like I'm cheating. I felt all the things that people feel. But slowly, it's like, I'll flip air. I'll flip whatever. It doesn't matter. Some things are hard. Like, some things are just beautiful from the gate. So I have to go in there and make it my own without... Because you could always make a sample just ugly. You could always reverse it. But finally, my mind has wrapped it around how to flip a sample to make it unique. Because here's the other problem. If you took a sample and then you left it as is, then Joe Schmo down the street who did the same thing, you guys got the same song. And then the crowd is like, you stole his beat. And you're like, no, he just didn't do anything to the sample, like me. That did happen to me once. I went down to Osaka, and I'm in the crowd, and I'm like, I know that song. It was actually one of my songs. Or I was, another time I saw this producer giving praise to another producer, like, yeah, he made this dope ass beat. And I'm like, yo, I know that. And I bought the same sample pack, at least sample DVDs. And He charged that man. You know what I mean? But so I got all these sample packs. And now I'm at the point where I don't just buy one, I buy the whole bundle. Which is not necessary. That's where I'm at now. Buy the bundle. If they got 4 in a set, I'm getting 4. If they got 13, I slowly buy until I own all 13. But then that 14th one, I'm like, nah, because they all do sound the same. Like if you watched all my videos, I could be walking in Japan, I could be walking here. I'm still the same. So I kind of, all right, I don't need those. So now I'm just kind of peppering my collection with random stuff or specific. So now I'm listening to Louis Armstrong. I want a lot of jazz samples, horn samples, bass, like upright bass. Like rhythm stuff. But the pieces, like horns, they're hard because they're just random. Like, so in context. So I stumbled on another, they just keep, kind of like The Walking Dead. There's always a community right across the street that's been there the whole time. Just like, they're still fighting. Yup. You think they notice us? No, they're too busy doing. So I found another sample library. And I found they're having a bundle special. And they gave me, so it's a 50% off bundle special. And they gave me a 25% off discount. So it's really cheap. Cost per price, cost per unit. It is. And that's kind of how I buy it in the bundles, because you get that unit price down. But I don't know if I should buy it because, although, and I listen to it, I love it. It's a sample pack made by live musicians, which again is that Armstrong feeling I'm getting from it. Whereas one guy sitting there playing all the stuff on the keyboard and might throw in a guitar, that has its place too, throwing a whole bunch of effects on it. But this is just straight musicians doing jamming, right? And they're long. Usually a sample pack might be 30 seconds. It's just a loop. And it literally is like a little intro, and then the second part might have the bass come out. The third part, some other instruments come out. The fourth part, if there's 4 instruments, they alternate, and then it fades out. But, you know, I didn't think of it, and whatever, I don't fault their things because it's hard. I've been trying. I'm still at this chord thing, like good morning. So I've never made music by chords. So if I have like a 1 4 5 1, a C, C, F, and G, C. Boom, boom, don't like that, right? And then I would play, boom, boom. You play inside the chords. But right now I'm at the point where, because chords they're not usually block chords. Like, bum, 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 bum. I would just be bum, bum, which that's not too musical. So now I'm experimenting with, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, because I either I was just making beats and layering everything. So if you just play on your little white keys and you'll be good, or you're using a sample, which the hook is probably a different chord, and the drums, the chords usually change on the drums, so, and that's on the beat, on the grid. But so I'm really debating if I should buy it. I've been trying to go to sleep, and if you wake up and you still want it, buy it. But I dream about it. It's just like, and then I went through my so I have to. So the whole thing is, when you buy sample packs, you're legally allowed to use it however you want. You just have to have proof that you bought it. All you people out there stealing it, but whatever. But since I've been buying things piecemeal for the longest, like I'd buy one, and then I'd buy another, and then I'd buy it on a different store because it's on sale. and I buy this 3 weeks later. It's really hard and random to line up the receipts. That's why I started doing bundles. Just buy the whole thing, and then so now I had to go into my mailbox and like search for all the receipts, PDF those bitches, stick them in a folder, and then I have to go Excel it up and kind of line things up. And then I'm just like, shit, I bought this? Damn, because what also happens is I buy it and then I forget about it, and then I buy something else. Sometimes I might buy the same sample twice if I don't remember. I did that last week. It was on sale. I was like, oh shit, I want it. I buy it. And then I go to download it, and there it is inside my account. Like, oh shit, I bought it already. So I email them, and they're just like, yeah. Don't worry about it. Wow, you saw that? That was scary. That was scary. I was like, ah. But yeah. So, and also, because this is a new idea, as I said, where we at? 40 minutes? 40 minutes. What we said before, I don't know if I said it. I'm going to say it now because I forgot if I said it, how I said it. But I got to put stuff out. Yeah. Because there's no one going to know what's in my brain music-wise if I don't put it out. So I got to put it out. And I'm sitting on I'm just sitting on a whole bunch of source material that is beautiful. And but I had to get all these ducks in line, because what happened last time, right? I was in Japan, I did it, and I posted it, and I sent them a blank receipt. Like, yeah, I paid for it. They're like, what's the name of the song on which, like, what? And the momentum, I ain't doing all that. I just, because on that day, I had my songs made. I go up there. It was great. But then trying to upload it, and they're like, you gotta jump over this and jump over it. So I never released it officially. But like the intro I made, that took like, I wrote the lyrics in class. It took like 5 minutes. I came home. I made the beat. That took like, I don't know, 4 minutes. And then I recorded it sitting down in front of I was going to go to the basement to get all, I just sat at the table where I made the beat. So I think I did a one take. So that took like, I don't know, 3 minutes. Because there's this one part where I say, it should be, I'm at home. I was working in Japan. Now I'm at home taking care of my dad. But that's a lot of words to fit in that thing. So it goes, I was working in Japan. I was taking care of my dad. It's something I should like punch in there, you know? Punch in. But I'm a one take guy. If I don't get it right, call that a night. Because again, it's if it was perfectly, it's lazy, but it doesn't really matter, you know? So that was 3 minutes. And then to mix down, so I worked on making a vocal chain and a whole mastering train. So really that whole intro took about 15 minutes. And then the images, because that's what I do in the beat, koala beat things. I do different things. Text, titles, images, do it on the iPad. But I did this in Final Cut. And so that whole thing took about 20 minutes. Posted it, uploaded to Bandcamp, found the picture, done. 20 minutes. In 1 hour, if I'm working in that kind of 1 hour, that would be three songs an hour. In a 8-hour span, 24 songs. That's like 2 albums. Every day, 2 albums. Every week. But the thing is, I don't know. I wouldn't want to make music that way. Although the factory model has been done. Again, nothing is new under the sun. I'll try to work backwards. So let's say remember Bad Boy era. They're just pumping out all these songs. No Limit era, pumping out songs. Death Row era, pumping out songs. Ludacris, Shady, not so much Shady. G Unit pumping out songs. And then Motown era pumping out songs. Tin Pan Alley, I don't think you guys know that. I don't know it, but that was the era where they were pumping out songs. Because they got a system, you know? Boom, boom, boom. And it's kind of, you know, it's a balance. If I can make a good, decent song, and y'all said you like the song. So if I can make that kind of quality in 20 minutes and put it out there, put it into the world, and maybe I'll start getting some pennies. Because like I haven't did this has been a thought, and this is why I've been collecting all these samples. So as long as I have a nice source of all types of sounds that are cleared for me to use, and I got beats for days, literally I make beats when I want them. If I don't gotta pay anybody, I can record it in my house. I'm mixing, getting better at all that. Like, check out this mixing technique that I never knew, I never used. So in most of my recordings, if you get the acapella, you can hear the music bleeding through the headphones. And that's that. Not an issue because it gets covered up when the music's playing. So on this vocal chain, I put a gate. And the gate blocks the noise of the headphones and the random TV in the background and, good morning, all the other random stuff. So now I get like a clean ass vocal. And it's like, no one's ever said to me, hey, why don't you put a gate on your stuff? And when I would be selling my vocals or doing work for people, I would go back in and sit there and chop in between everything. So it's like this is super bump up, because now you could raise the volume and it's not gonna bring up the noise and all that. But yeah, I could make a song about anything. I could freestyle, and these are written, so I could freestyle. I usually freestyle when I'm just making a beat or something, just to freestyle. But when it comes to when it comes to writing stuff for other people, I'm gonna write, because you know. So this is the project, to put out, like to make it a factory, so I could come home, say, hey dad, da da da, and then bang out a couple songs and then put them up the same day about random stuff, about the war in Ukraine, about Trump and whatever, just because I need to get my music out there in front of people who, because at the height of when I was getting the most, like when people were sending me stuff and people were, oh, please be on the song, is when I was putting out music. It's you know, if you don't put out music, you kind of die. People like, should I reach out to Matt? I think he died. So that's the plan. And yeah, so we back here, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. I'm happy not to be working, because man, when I was doing a night job, I would wake up, cause I can't, when I do night work, I can't sleep 8 hours when I get back. So I sleep 3 hours then, and then I do my stuff. But yeah, what is this? It's a costume party. 22nd. Yeah. Wow, it's a spider. Yeah. All right, be safe, peace, thanks for watching, and yeah.